What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Too Good for Theaters video here today. Today we're going to be breaking down the Patriots at their quote-unquote quarterly season recap here, giving my thoughts on what they need to do going forward and what they've done rather well, as well as previewing this upcoming matchup between the Patriots and the Dolphins, so let's get right into it here. Before we get into some of the breakdowns here on the Patriots season thus far, I did want to give a little bit of injury news about center David Andrews, one of your offensive captains here. And frankly, you just can't afford to lose any more offensive linemen. It's a position of crucial need for this team right now. And I'll kind of get into that a little later in this video. But you're losing an offensive captain. And more importantly, you're losing one of the best Patriots from a leadership standpoint here. David Andrews is one of the NFL vets in the league, was highly respected by a lot of this league. And it's unfortunate for his career here. David Andrews has been very productive when on the field of late, but unfortunately he just hasn't been able to maintain his health on the field as much as I'm sure he would like to. He really has been battling injuries these past couple seasons here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is potentially the final nail in the coffin, that David Andrews decides to hang up the cleats after this season. He's been one of the best Patriots. I'm sure he's been the longest offensive player on this team now. I believe he was undrafted in 2015 or 2016, and he's been a productive player ever since. But if this is his final game or final stint as a Patriot, he's had one heck of a career, and it's just good to know that he has made it thus far. And even if he does come back, hopefully he does. Hopefully he'll be able to maintain a healthy season next season and help this Patriots team out. So with the injury news out the way here, the New England Patriots start the season off 1-3, taking losses to Seattle, New York, and San Fran, and getting their lone win on opening day against the Cincinnati Bengals. Honestly, if I were to give this team a ranking thus far, I'd probably give them a D. I honestly thought that they would start the season off 1-3. They had a very tough schedule to start off this season here. But the reason why I would give them a D more so, it's just because of the trajectory they're going in right now. Back blowout weeks essentially for them, and it's just not good for the culture, especially with what Jerod Mayo is trying to preach to these players here, of just showing up and really kind of giving it their all during this season. They might not be the most talented team, but no one's really going to want to play them just due to their hustle and energy. And frankly, the past 2 weeks, especially against the Jets, the energy just was not there. But it's going to be difficult for them to kind of match up against these more talented teams. And really, frankly, this is a 4-win, 3-win team in terms of just from a talent standpoint. And it's really going to be on this coaching staff more so, or just on potential flukes during some of these games where the Patriots are going to have to pick up extra W's if they do want to contend for the postseason. But in reality, this team, frankly, should not be contending to the postseason. They have to be realistic. This is a rebuilding year here, and hopefully you're just going to have building blocks coming up here on the offense and defense where they can really kind of have that landscape to move forward here. But taking a look at some of these offensive rankings here, overall, the Patriots have a 64.3 grade offensively, and that would be the 28th out of 32 teams in the NFL. So you can see the Patriots offense has completely struggled. It's not a surprise, really. The Patriots are going to really kind of struggle to put up points here. And it's really just not a surprise whatsoever from the talent standpoint on the offensive end. They have done a solid job in running the ball. I will give them credit with that. They have a run grade of 69.8, which is 23rd out of 32 teams. However, you might say, hey, that's not good, being 23rd out of 32. However, when the Patriots go down, like they have to the Jets and to the 49ers, where they're really basically throwing for the entirety of the second halves, you could kind of see why their rushing grades might deplete just a little bit. But when they've been competitive in games like they were in Week 1 and Week 2, the running attack has been a strength for this team and really has been one of the only bright spots for this offense, especially with considering how bad they have been passing the ball through 4 games. So whenever the Patriots really have a chance to win a game, it's going to have to be on the ground where they really dominate time of possession. And unfortunately, Ramondre Stevenson has been shaky of late. 4 fumbles in 4 games. You really don't like that from your star back, and I wouldn't be surprised if this coaching staff does kind of discipline him a little bit. I know that they were talking about starting Antonio Gibson over Ramondre Stevenson for this Miami game here, and I honestly think that that's the right move for this coaching staff. You have to keep this culture intact. You have to hold players accountable, and that's something that Gerard Mayo should look into more going forward here. I understand that Ramondre Stevenson is by far your best offensive player, and it really is difficult for this team if they want to get wins to hold that out. But this is more so a kind of culture-defining move here for Gerard Mayo. And if you continue to play Ramondre Stevenson at the workload that he's gotten, and he continues to have fumble problems, it's kind of just basically showing that your word is not much through these first 4 weeks like it has been so far for Gerard Mayo. But taking a look at the passing grades here for New England, they have a 52.1 passing grade, which is 26th out of 32 teams. And frankly, I feel like that's just more kind of impacted by them only turning the ball over once through the passing grade. I wouldn't be surprised if you take turnovers out of the equation. They would be dead last in the passing grade in terms of all 32 NFL teams here. But just due to the fact that other teams have turned the ball over more in the passing game is probably why the Patriots heightened ranking here more so. Jacoby Brissett, as much as we have kind of talked about how he hasn't elevated this offense whatsoever, he's done a good job of not turning the ball over for the most part. Frankly, just that one throw to Fred Warner has been his lone mistake in the passing grade or in the passing game this season. Technically, he's had two, but Hunter Henry was able to kind of race that interception there and week one there. So Jacoby Brissett has done a solid job throwing the ball in terms of just protecting the football and not allowing interceptions. From a fumbling standpoint, however, he has fumbled the ball a lot, especially against San Fran. I believe he had like 3 fumbles alone. So he does have to do a better job of covering up the ball there. But like I said before, you're not expecting much from this offense. And frankly, they just haven't been producing much so far this season. Granted, they have gone up against what I perceive to be 2 really good defenses these past 2 weeks here, with that being the Jets and the 49ers. However, frankly, they should have probably done better against the Jets because the Jets defense has struggled a little bit thus far this season. So I'm surprised that they only put up 3 points against the New York Jets. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a literal kind of a jinx by myself and actually attending that game. I have yet to go to a Patriots game where they really have had an offensive firepower other than the Bills opener in 2009. And even that wasn't the most offensive juggernaut game. So that might have just been a jinx on my standpoint. But this Patriots offense has to get going, and they have to get the ball to their playmakers like Demario Douglas. Frankly, he needs to be more involved in this offense. I understand that the strength of this offense isn't to throw the football, but he probably is your most dynamic playmaker besides Ramondre Stevenson with his speed and quickness, and he kind of showed that last season. So you have to find ways to give him the ball, whether that's through jet sweeps, screen passes, or just frankly like little short breaking routes where you could get him one-on-one in man coverage potentially, and he could do some damage with yards after the catch there. But good news for this Patriots offense is that Jalen Polk has been utilized more these past couple weeks, and he has been showing up on the passing attack a little bit. Had that real nice catch last week that unfortunately did not count against the 49ers, so that is a little bit of a struggle, but his usage rate is going up, so the Patriots are trying to get these rookie playmakers in the game. Wouldn't be surprised if coming up in these next couple weeks here, if Javon Baker potentially sees some more looks if this Patriots offense continues to struggle. But like I said before, the offense really has been the detriment to this team and has not really kind of helped the defense out in situational football or perhaps even the special teams. But I'd like to see some offensive improvement here. And the defense is going up or coming up fourth. Besides the Texans really aren't the best. So maybe you might see a little bit more production from this offense. And of course, there's going to be the QB battle between Drake May and Jacoby Brissett. Going to be interesting what the Patriots' plan is at the quarterback position, and we'll monitor that very shortly. I might even do a whole video dedicated to that and what my opinion would be for what the Patriots should do. But we'll see coming up here if the Patriots offense is able to get a little bit of traction and potentially even see a little bit more production from the offense here. So moving over to the defense here, the Patriots actually have a overall defensive grade of 63, which puts them at 18th of 32 NFL teams there. And that's not surprising. They've had some mixed bag results these past couple weeks here. And really considering the offenses that they've gone against, not surprised that they're kind of that mid-pack team right now. They faced the Bengals at a very good time when it's well documented that the Bengals do get off to slow starts. They kind of struggled against Seattle's passing attack, and Seattle really kind of broke the code on how to challenge this New England defense, really, where you put them in up-tempo situations and kind of spread them out to where they're not able to use the strengths of this defense, which is that versatility with disguises, considering the kind of the players they have on the back end in that secondary, as well as in the linebacking core. So, and then they went ahead and they kind of faced the Jets in a difficult situation where they were facing the Jets at their home opener. I felt like the Jets kind of unveiled a lot of what they wanted to do against this Patriots team, and especially on a short week, given that Seattle, quote-unquote, kind of cracked the code, the Jets were able to take advantage against that. And then, of course, they faced the Niners with a lot of their players returning, and frankly, the Niners are a top 5 team easily in this league, if not the best team in this league. And honestly, the Patriots just faced them at a wrong time where the offense struggled and the Niners offense really started to click more so. And I'm not surprised that the Patriots are kind of that middling defense right now. But looking over at their run defense grade, they actually ranked 51.7, which is 27th out of 32 NFL teams. And that does seem a little low to me right there. Obviously, that Niners game impacted this a ton right now. And the Patriots did probably have their worst run defense grade performance-wise on the season against the 49ers, where Jordan Mason really was able to kind of gash this Patriots defense. But overall, I would say that the Patriots defense run defense has not been bad whatsoever, considering the fact that they have been down in a lot of these games. So I'm sure that, especially these past 2 weeks against the Jets and the 49ers, I'm sure that those numbers are kind of inflated. If you take a look at the first 2 weeks, I'm sure that they were probably ranked one of the best run defense grades. However, just considering the fact that they've been really blown out these past 2 weeks, I'm sure that their run defense numbers have kind of been inflated, and unfortunately that's something that's not good for the Patriots there. The offense, frankly, just has not been helping out this defense much in terms of actual putting points up on the board. But I will give credit to the offense, at least the passing attack. They really have not turned the ball over that much. Ramondre does have to kind of clean up these fumbling issues to help out this defense and stop giving the Patriots or opposing teams short fields to really attack. But moving on to the pass defense grades here, the Patriots have a 63.6 pass defense grade, which is 19th of 32 teams. And I'm sure that Seattle game, as well as the San Fran game and against the Jets, really have inflated those numbers there. But honestly, I feel like the secondary has been holding up of late. I think that really what's struggling so far through the air for the Patriots has been kind of a little bit of fluky situations here, just due to the fact that the Patriots have had signal callers go down in multitude of these games here. Against Seattle, they lost their defensive signal caller, that being Jawan Bentley, or at least the play caller. So, they're kind of in a little bit of a fritz there in terms of who's going to step up and be that defensive play caller. And then, of course, against the 49ers, your sub-defensive signal caller there, Kyle Duggar, going down as well. So I feel like it has been a little bit of fluky situations, and a lot of the big plays that the Patriots have given up have been more so miscommunications instead of just being beat by better offenses. So I think that that's an area that the Patriots could improve in from a secondary standpoint, as well as with the linebacking core. It's going to be interesting to see really who this defensive coaching staff kind of coins the next defensive signal caller. My vote would probably be for Jabril Peppers, considering the fact that he is experienced in this defense. He's also playing the safety position, so he's going to be able to kind of see most of the field if there are audibles needed to be made. And frankly, I think just Jabril Peppers has been one of the best defensive players in the league these past couple seasons, especially in this New England defense. Has just been really showing elite production. and can continue to do so far this season. I believe he has like an 82 defensive grade right now, which is very elite and kind of continuing off of what he's built on in New England these past couple seasons. But I feel like the strength or the weakness of this Patriots defense so far has been the defensive line. Not more so from a rushing standpoint, but frankly just from a kind of a struggle to get to the quarterback in terms of containment, as well as just the inability for the Patriots really to get the quarterback on the ground here. We saw it these past couple weeks, the broken containment. Aaron Rodgers and Brock Purdy really was able to dissect this defense just due to the fact that they were able to get out of the pocket, extend plays, and look downfield or really pick up first downs with their legs. So, in my opinion, if the Patriots can't get to the quarterback with 4, they're either going to have to start blitzing more or they're going to have to sacrifice their rush to kind of keep this containment and not allow the quarterbacks to escape the pocket. And basically, really, Keion White has been your best pass rusher and really, frankly, just has been your only player who has consistently gotten to the quarterback here. Keion White's been one of the best defensive rated edge players in the league thus far. You can put him inside, outside. I believe he has 4 sacks on the season so far and really just has been doing a lot from a defensive standpoint. Frankly, the rest of the defense, I know that Dietrich Wise had the lone sack of last week, but I wouldn't be surprised if anyone else actually does not have a sack outside of Dietrich Wise as well as Keion White there. But good news is that Anthony Jennings should be coming back for this game here against the Miami Dolphins. So hopefully that's going to help against the run defense or the rushing attack of the Miami Dolphins. And you're going to get more spark there from a deep run defense standpoint where you're not going to have Josh Uche in on rushing downs, which frankly just isn't his strength at this point. Josh Uche has been getting a number of pressures so far this season. Unfortunately, he just hasn't gotten a sack. But when you ask of him to play run defense as well, he kind of gets picked on in that regard there. So it's going to be interesting if this Patriots coaching staff can either scheme up some ways of how players can get to the quarterback and put them on the ground here, or frankly, if they start blitzing more. And if they're unable to kind of get this pressure on the quarterbacks, you're asking your secondary really just to cover for a long portion of time. And that's frankly why I see the secondary kind of struggling as much as they are through passing attacking numbers here from NFL offenses. With that being said, however, I do think that the Patriots secondary is still the strength of this defense, and I do think that the Patriots top 3 corners have really performed really well so far this season. Christian Gonzalez has kind of continued that success that he had during his rookie season and is just putting more and more experience under his belt, going up against these number 1 wide receivers, where he has given up some plays here and there, but he's done a really good job of not allowing the opposing team's best receivers to really kind of beat the Patriots, with the one exception of that being DK Metcalf. And that was more so a miscommunication between him and Kyle Duggar rather than him actually just getting beat by DK Metcalf. But he's done a real nice job of kind of taking down the opposing team's number 1 wide receiver and kind of blanketing them in coverage and not allowing them to take over the game here. Jonathan Jones just continues to be one of the best corners in the league of these past couple seasons. That Patriots number 2 corner is graded really well, and he's just continuing to do what he normally does. Granted, he'll give up some big plays every now and then, but he really just has been that sturdy cornerback where you can rely on him to give solid coverage, whether that being man or zone. And he has been having to take more so of plays off every now and again, and he has had a little bit of injury concerns so far this season. But frankly, he just has been really good in coverage, and really the only 1 play or 2 plays that I really have remembered of him kind of getting beat was more so miscommunication based, that being with him and Jalen Hawkins against Deebo Samuel on that deep post, and that pass interference, which frankly I don't think was pass interference against Tyler Lockett. But Jonathan Jones continues to be sturdy there. And of the 3, Marcus Jones has certainly been the guy who's been quote-unquote picked on. Not more so because of his play. I just feel like if teams are going to attack the Patriots defense, it is going to be against Marcus Jones, just because they don't want to attack Christian Gonzalez and Jonathan Jones. But that's not to say that Marcus Jones has played bad at all. I feel like he's done a really nice job in the slot this season. Coverage-wise, he's made some plays. he has given up some catches every now and again, in particular to Jackson Smith and Jigba. I felt like he really owned the day that day. But to Marcus Jones' credits, when he does give up those kind of plays, he's done a real nice job in coverage of tackling. And he is one of the better tackling corners, especially given his size in the league. And frankly, Marcus Jones has made a number of plays on the ball thus far this season. And given the fact that he's been the Patriots' #1 return man in the punting game, Marcus Jones really has showed his versatility and kind of just that he's a dynamic player on special teams as well as defensively, and really has been a strong starting piece in this Patriots secondary. The one kryptonite of this Patriots secondary thus far from a cornerback position has been that fourth corner. The Patriots have to find that fourth corner, and frankly, it's going to be between Marco Wilson and Alex Austin. I'm more comfortable with Alex Austin, but neither one of them really has had a ton of success this season. In particular, Marco Wilson really struggled against Seattle. Seattle was able to draw a number of flags against him, and it frankly kind of killed the Patriots defense in that game, and it really kind of set Seattle up with a touchdown drive. But also Alan Lazard. I mean, when Alex Austin was kind of playing that off coverage, Aaron Rodgers kind of just dissected that nice little quick pass to Alan Lazard there, and he absolutely trucked through one of Alex Austin's tackles. So it's going to be up to one of those two to really step into that fourth corner role. And if the Patriots do find this fourth corner, they can kind of rotate these pieces out every now and again, kind of preserve that energy. And frankly, that's what I think the Patriots want to do the most. I think that they want to be that man team. It's just considering the fact that they haven't given up or haven't really had a ton of success when pressuring the quarterback, they're forced to play more zone because guys can only cover for so long. And when you don't have the necessary cornerback depth with Marco Wilson and Alex Austin struggling, as well as some guys dealing with a little bit of injury nicks from here and there, it kind of sets up a recipe for the Patriots not to play with their strengths from this defensive standpoint, especially in the secondary there. So it's going to be interesting to see who steps up and how this coaching staff kind of changes this defensive dynamic, if they start blitzing more to get more pressure on the quarterbacks here, or if they say, frankly, hey, we're just going to sacrifice our rush in general to either drop more guys back in coverage, or really just frankly to keep these quarterbacks more contained in this pocket. So it's going to be up to DeMarcus Covington and this defensive coaching staff, as well as head coach Jerod Mayo, to figure this out. And they're not going to be playing as much as dynamic offenses as they have had so far this season. So it's going to be up to them to really channel in this defense, get them back to playing in their strengths, and kind of finding out how to kind of beat that empty box set or that empty set that offenses are going to often deploy against them. And if they're going to be taking on this this up-tempo by these offenses through the next couple weeks, let's see what this defensive coaching staff kind of has for an answer against those type of offenses. So moving on to the Patriots-Dolphins preview here, I really do think that this is a Patriots game that they need to win. You're at home. You're facing an undermanned Dolphins team playing their backup quarterback, who I believe is Tyler Huntley. And frankly, this is a team that is ripe for the picking. The Patriots are facing them at the right time at home. This is a game that the Patriots really need to win. And if they want to kind of get this train back on the track here, this is a game that they should win. And not only win, they really should win by a substantial margin. And surprisingly, that's something that you really can't say with this Patriots team. But if there's a team to beat right now or face right now, it is this Miami's Dolphins team, with them kind of undergoing this offensive transformation between Tua not playing, as well as them having to start their backup quarterback here. So it's going to be right for the picking for this Patriots defense. A lot of teams have been having success against the Miami Dolphins so far this season. And frankly, if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, I'm sure you're not absolutely thrilled with your team right now. And it's unfortunate, just given the fact of Tua's situation, that they're really not able to contend like I'm sure that they probably wanted to this season. But I kind of have a couple of nuggets here for the Patriots against the Miami Dolphins here. And I think that there's some areas that the Patriots offense can exploit within this Miami Dolphins defense here. And honestly, that's frankly just getting their tight ends and backs involved more in the receiving game. The Miami Dolphins have really struggled against tight ends so far this season, as well as really, frankly, just in the middle of the field so far. You see guys like Jordan Poyer and Javon Holland really only having coverage grades of 45.5 and 51.3, as well as some of the Miami Dolphins linebackers like Brooks, as well as Long Jr. having a coverage grade of 52.3, and Long Jr. in particular, a linebacker, having a coverage grade of basically 40. So if you're able to get guys like Austin Hooper as well as Hunter Henry involved in the middle of the field, this is an area that you can attack this Miami defense here. And I know that the Patriots' archetype to winning games is through the running game. But if you can really establish good yardage on first and second down, potentially through the running game, and kind of set up these third and shorts, that's an area that you can bring in your tight ends, that 12 personnel, and have success with throwing the ball in terms of just being able to kind of exploit the middle of this Miami defense. You're not going to beat this Miami defense by throwing to the outside against guys like Jalen Ramsey, especially with the wide receivers that you have right now on the field. But if there was success to be had against this Miami defense, I feel like it is more so going up against these linebackers and safeties in coverage across the middle of the field. And if you're able to get Pop Douglas matched up on a nickel corner, take advantage of that, because Pop Douglas is your most dynamic playmaker from an offensive standpoint, especially in the receiving game, and especially if Ramondre is not playing. So my keys to the game for the Patriots here would be to really win first downs, get set up in short second and third yardage situations through either running the game or running game or through the passing attack. But you're going to have to set yourself up with third and shorts. And frankly, it's basically that's going to be the game plan for the Patriots all season. It's going to be you're going to have to win the early downs. So get to second and fives, third and twos, third and threes. That's how you're going to win this game, especially against this Miami defense, where you can carve apart that middle of the field. And a player that you're really going to have to watch out for on this Miami defense, I would say more so, is Calais Campbell. He has been wrecking havoc on NFL offensive lines. And given the fact that our offensive line is right now statistically the worst in the league, you have to neutralize Calais Campbell. He's had 2 sacks so far this season, 7 hurries. He has a win percentage of 18 in his pass rushing snaps. So if you're able to contain Calais Campbell and kind of play that one-on-one matchup, or potentially kind of that chip matchup with other Miami defenders there, I do feel confident that his Patriots offensive line will have more success than they had. I'm just not going to have confidence in this offensive line in general, especially with David Andrews going down and having them be on their 4th left string left tackle right now. This offensive line is going to struggle, but frankly, this isn't a Miami team that's going to beat you through getting to the quarterback, or at least it shouldn't thus far. That's frankly just hasn't been what Miami's defense has been good at so far this season, especially if you're able to neutralize Calais Campbell. And I understand that this kind of goes against what I've just said about getting your tight ends in the passing game, or just attacking the middle of the field with maybe running backs through the passing game. But if you're able to chip on Calais Campbell, or at least send a double team his way, maybe you sacrifice a little bit of that passing attack. But if you have multiple in-breaking routes to attack the middle of the field, and you're able to kind of have that delayed route running from your tight ends or running backs on whoever's chipping Calais Campbell, that would be my plan of attack, to kind of neutralize Calais Campbell, but still have that success when attacking across the middle of the field there. And from an offensive standpoint, for the Miami Dolphins, I feel like really kind of forcing them to run to the inside is going to be the strength of this defense, and that would be my game plan. Really do not let Devon Achane, I believe it is, kind of run to the outside here. Keep the Miami Dolphins running between the tackles here, and especially having them running into guys like Devon Gotcha, who's played really well so far this season, Daniel Quale. You're going to have Anthony Jennings and as well as Keon White kind of setting that edge. And like I said, similar to before, keep that containment, especially against a guy like Tyler Huntley, as well as even in the running game with Devon Archer. Do not let the Miami Dolphins kind of play that horizontal running attack that they like to do, kind of that quote-unquote Shanahan offense, that outside zone. If you're able to keep them in between the tackles in the running game, I feel like that's where the Patriots are going to have a lot of their success. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots kind of load the box a little bit here. I understand that you have guys like Jalen Waddle as well as Tyreek Hill on the field, but frankly, the Miami Dolphins offense right now has not been able to kind of get on the same page with those two guys I understand that you're going to want to play that deep coverage safety, two safeties. And for the most part, I feel like you should be doing that, obviously, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But if you're able to kind of bring in your linebackers really to help with this run support, that would be my game plan here, and really force the Miami Dolphins to be one-dimensional in this passing attack, because honestly, I don't think that Tyler Huntley is going to have the success to beat this Patriots defense throwing the ball through the air. And especially if you're able to keep him as a pocket passer, I would feel very confident that this Patriots offense is able to shut down this Miami defense, or this Miami offense here. And frankly, it's something that they should. They're on their backup quarterback. They have been struggling so far this season. Tennessee has a solid defense, but they really just frankly did not look good against that Tennessee defense. And I feel like the Patriots have a plan to kind of neutralize the explosiveness of this Miami's offense if they're able to kind of keep it, just really keep containment and set the edge. That's been something that this defense, frankly, has not been doing of late. And if they're able to do it, especially in this matchup, it's going to help to neutralize this Miami offense. And if you're able to kind of bring this into a special teams battle here, the Patriots have the second best ranked so far, the second best special team battle in the NFL. And that's really an area of strength with this Patriots team. Really the only strength so far this season of elite production has been through your special teams. So that's an area that you probably could take advantage with across the league in general, but especially against this Miami Dolphins, if you're able to kind of move the ball and make this a low-scoring game. I mean, granted, that's what's going to have to happen with all your games so far this season, because your offense just frankly isn't a firepower unit. But if you're able to keep this a low-score game and really keep Archan running up the middle, or whoever's running in that backfield for Miami, keep them between the tackles and do not allow them to kind of establish this outside zone, I feel like you're going to have a ton of success here. And if you're able to stick to that game plan, that's what I think that the Patriots really have that recipe for success against the Miami Dolphins. And that's why I'm picking the Patriots to win this game here. They move to 2-3 on the season. 17-16 final score. Patriots get their first home dub of the Gerard Mayo era and kind of silence a little bit of this QB controversy. There's obviously still going to be a lot of people clamoring for Drake May to be in there, but a win is certainly going to help that Jacoby side and potentially buy the Patriots a little bit more time of having Drake May continue to develop on the bench here. But it's going to be up to the Patriots. This is a game that they should win. They're facing a Miami team that's depleted, and they're at home. If they do not win this game, it would be a very concerning factor. This team, frankly, just does not have the ability to have that quote-unquote automatic W like they had before, with the lack of talent from an offensive standpoint, and frankly, just a lack of talent on both sides of the ball. More so, especially with the injuries to guys like Kyle Duggar and Jawan Bentley. But it's going to be up to the Patriots here, and hopefully the offensive game plan and defensive game plan are able to hit on this matchup, because if the Patriots execute, this is a game that they should win, which is a rarity, but this is a game that they should win against a depleted Miami Dolphins team here. All right, everyone, this is going to wrap up this video. No, it's a little bit of a longer video here and squeezed a lot into this type of video. But if you do like these kind of segments where I do give these little quarterly recaps for the New England Patriots, as well as even some potential previews of Patriots' upcoming matchup the week before, let me know in the comments below. And once again, thank you so much again for watching.